Hi everybody, thanks for joining me again for another video, another soap making video that is. As you saw in the introduction, I will be making Egyptian musk today. So I have already pre-prepped my oils. I have some olive oil in there and some shea butter, castor oil, soybean oil, and coconut oil. So that's all in there. I also have some kaolin clay in the mix. So I'm just going to get the clay kind of stirred in a little bit. Alright, so I just kind of wanted to break that down into my oils. And I have already prepared my lye solution. I am using some coconut milk today. And the majority of our soaps are vegan, but I do have one goat milk soap on hand, and that one is actually a bestseller. It's really popular with my clients who have eczema or sensitive skin. They really, really, really love that soap. I do have some extra goodies in there. So it's goat milk, and then I have some oatmeal in there, and I also have some raw honey in there. So all those things are really, really good for the skin. This one here, it's going to be Egyptian musk, as I let you guys know in the introduction. And it's one of the favorite fragrances of the client that I am making this for. I'm really excited to be doing this soap today. And I'm going to be doing a red, black, and yellow soap design. Alright, so we're kind of just hand blending in that line. Hi everybody, thanks for joining me again for another video, another soap making video that is. As you saw in the introduction, I will be making Egyptian musk today. So I have already pre-prepped my oils. I have some olive oil in there and some shea butter, castor oil, soybean oil, and coconut oil. So that's all in there. I also have some kaolin clay in the mix. So I'm just going to get the clay kind of stirred in a little bit. To break that down into my oils. And I have already prepared my lye solution. I am using some coconut milk today. And the majority of our soaps are vegan, but I do have one goat milk soap on hand, and that one is actually a bestseller. It's really popular with my clients who have eczema or sensitive skin. They really, really, really love that soap. I do have some extra goodies in there. So it's goat milk, and then I have some oatmeal in there, and I also have some raw honey in there. So all those things are really, really good for the skin. This one here, it's going to be Egyptian musk, as I let you guys know in the introduction. And it's one of the favorite fragrances of the client that I am making this for. I'm really excited to be doing this soap today. And I'm going to be doing a red, black, and yellow soap design. Alright, so we're kind of just hand blending in that line. Alright, so I was just kind of hand blending that lye in there. Okay, so we're going to blend it all in. And I'm going to bring it to a light trace. And what a light trace is, so trace is referring to like the thickness of your batter, and I don't want it to be too thick because I still have to blend in the colorant and also have to blend in the fragrance oil. So I don't want to blend too much. I just want to blend it until it's nice and incorporated and we get the lye solution and the oils mixed in together. mixed in together is that the oil will no longer sit on top, or kind of it'll have like oil slick marks in there if it's not blended all together. So you're waiting for it to all kind of become one color, for lack of a better term. And this is that very, very, very light trace, which is perfect because we're going to be using activated charcoal in this recipe. And if you don't know, activated charcoal can accelerate your trace, so you don't want to do that. Now, the majority of this soap is going to be red. So I am going to pour off our black section and our yellow section. So this could be the black. We want a good little amount of black. And then we want some nice little swirls of yellow. Little swirls of yellow. Okay. And then we're going to leave the rest red. Okay. And then we'll move that out of the camera shot. And we'll move our activated charcoal bucket out of the camera shot. And I always like to keep a few napkins handy because you do, well, I drip soap on my table and it's kind of distracting. So I like to just wipe it up as I go. All right, I'm just looking over here to make sure I have enough black accent, and I think that I do. I think that that's pretty good. I may just add a little bit more here off camera, just a smidge. So the top will also reflect the red, black, and yellow. So I like to have enough for when I get to the top, I can create a swirl, a nice pretty design on the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and color this red. And I might even switch these gloves because it's hard to open up my little packs here. And what I do is I use my skewer sticks to color my my batter, only because I like to put a little bit at a time. That way, if it needs more, I can go ahead and add more. It's kind of like seasoning. If you add too much, it's kind of hard to reverse that. So you want to add a little bit at first and then kind of layer on top if it's not enough. And I'm just kind of like hand mixing that in because, again, if you blend your batter too much, it will cause your batter to thicken. And so I don't want it to thicken up too quickly before I'm ready to pour in everything. And I have not blended in my my fragrance oil yet either. So that's another reason why I don't want my batter to thicken up too much right now. See those little red bits? Those are the bits of powder that haven't broken down. And this is actually a really nice color red. I might just leave it that way and not color it anymore. I'm kind of liking it. I just want to get the specks all blended in. That way they don't show up when I actually cut the soap. I'm kind of stirring here. Making sure all those little colorant clumps are out. And see, that's a nice deep red. You almost can't tell it from the container, at least on camera. I think I like it. So I am going to leave it as is. And I'm just trying to get those extra bits out. Okay, and then I'm going to do black last. That way I don't contaminate my colorants too bad. So move on to the yellow. I'm actually going to move that out of the camera shot. And we'll get our yellow. And I forgot to show you what red we're using. So I'm using really red mica from Nurture Soap. Sorry, it's kind of not picking that up. But that's a nice color red. So for our yellow, I will be using Firefly mica from Nurture Soap. And they have some really good mica options. So if you're just starting out and you're wondering where you should go to get your colorants, Nurture Soap has a really, really good variety of soaps. I want this to be a good, nice and loud yellow color so it can hit the red really nicely and contrast it really nicely. Kind of wiping off the red colorant off of my spatula. You know, I'm just going to use a whole different spatula here. I'm just kind of stirring that in. And I think I'm already going to need more colorant. But we're going to blend it because blending it kind of unlocks all those little powder pockets that are in your liquid. And we'll see kind of what kind of yellow we get here. That's actually a pretty nice yellow. Man, I'm just getting it right on the spot tonight. See how deep and yellow that is? That's pretty nice. I think that'll be a good contrast with our red. So now we're going to go ahead and do our activated charcoal. Kind of move it closer. There you go. And sometimes, I don't know, for some reason I can't get it as black as I want to. But then as the soap kind of dries, it gets darker. So I'm going to put a good little bit in here. And our batter is kind of yellow, and that does kind of play a role in the colorant that you use. Sometimes it'll come out a different color because it's mixing with the color of your batter. So this we definitely want to hand stir first, even though it doesn't really break down too good with hand stirring, but we just don't want to over blend. That's our goal, not to overblend. See how that's kind of like not really blending in with the batter? Okay. See those little yellow streaks still kind of hanging out? It's getting there. But nothing like the stick blender. So we're going to go ahead and stick blend just to unlock those pockets of powder in there. See how that transformed? Now that's nice and even. Those pockets are dispersing. Okay, nice. Okay. And we're almost done. That quick, guys. I am going to get our fragrance oil, which is right here. We're doing Egyptian musk tonight. Can you see that good? That's from Nature's Garden. This actually sticks to the soap really, really well. I'm actually really impressed at how that sticks to the soap. And I do use kaolin clay to help my fragrances last longer. But Nature's Garden does have good selections for fragrance oils. All right, so I am going to go ahead and put our fragrance oil in. All right, and I'm just dispersing it between each color. Put our black there. And I'm going to zero out. Zero out again for our red. Now that all of our colorants are in, I am going to go ahead and hand mix our batter. That way, out of the camera frame. That way it doesn't thicken too quick on us. So I'm gonna go with the lighter color and kind of hand mix that in there. And now it's okay to start thickening up a little bit, just so that it doesn't become muddy when we put it into the soap mold. I definitely don't want it to be bleeding into one another. I kind of want them to be really contrasted, really different from each other, and really bold, really stand out, and really kind of give that luxurious kind of look to the bar. Alright, so I'm just gonna take a napkin because black is the last colorant that we used. So I'm just gonna kind of wipe my stick blender down just a tad bit, and then we'll start over with the yellow here, and we're gonna stick blend. And I want it to kind of thicken up now. I'm gonna kind of encourage some extra trace, so I am just dialing up my stick blender here. Give it just a tad more power. So that's already thickening. And sometimes it moves quick. Once you blend it in by hand and get that fragrance oil kind of reacting to the chemical in the soap, sometimes it just takes off on you and it just goes really, really quick. So you want to be careful with that and just kind of pay attention. I would encourage all of the newer soapers, which I'm not an expert, but it is important to pay attention to how your batter responds to your fragrance oils. For example, floral fragrances tend to thicken up pretty quick. So if you like rose or geranium or anything, just know that it may thicken up on you pretty quickly. So that's already getting thick. I don't want to get it too thick. I just want to encourage it to get a little bit thicker. That way those colors kind of separate themselves from each other. Okay, just a few little blends from the stick blender. Okay, there we go. And because red is our dominant color, I'm going to pour that first. Alrighty, so I'm just grabbing my mold here. And then I'm going to pour my red first. Okay, so we're just getting that bottom layer going. Alright, and then we'll drop our black in. Okay, then we'll do our yellow. Let's see if I scoot that closer. Okay. Okay. Boom. And then we'll just layer it. Keep kind of going here. And the beauty of it is I have no clue what the inside of this is going to look like when I cut it. So it's exciting every single time I cut a loaf of soap. And we're gonna swirl it. Just like that and keep layering. We'll do another layer of yellow. And then I'll turn the camera back on once I get to the top so you guys can see that top design. All right, so I finished the soap. And I put some gold shimmer on top, so I'm just going to zigzag across. To make our pattern here. guys, so that is pretty much it for Egyptian musk. All right, it'll take 4 to 6 weeks to cure, and then it'll be put onto the website and available for purchase. Stay tuned for the cutting of the soap. Thanks for tuning in.